Hello everybody, welcome to the Lausitzring, welcome to part 2 of the season for Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland. It's been a little bit of a break, well it's been about 4 weeks since we last chatted. We were in Zandvoort the last time you saw us. Since then, we have travelled about 785 kilometres east across Europe from Zandvoort all the way to the Lausitzring. And it was very warm in Zandvoort, but it was nothing compared to what we are experiencing here at this wonderful circuit located in Klettwitz in the state of Brandenburg in East Germany. You can see the air temperature is knocking on the door of 35 degrees centigrade. The track about 41.2. There's not much wind. It is stifling hot here. Really glorious conditions, perfect for a bit of racing, but pretty hot inside the cars as they roll out onto the circuit, getting ready for qualifying for 2 races this weekend. The first 2 races of part 2 of this season. Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland once again turning up another classic season of races. So it'll be races 9 and 10 of a 16 race season that will take place this weekend here at the Lausitzring, a circuit that's 3.478 kilometers around with 12 turns, 7 of them in a left-hand direction, 5 in a right-hand direction. And for those who are very observant amongst you, you will see that the cars are traveling in an anti-clockwise direction, quite unusual in the grand scale of things. Most circuits are in a clockwise direction, but here at the Lausitzring we run in an anti-clockwise direction. It is a unique circuit in many ways, and that view there says one of the reasons why it is so unique. You're looking at the pit straight. It's also the pit straight of the mighty tri-oval. You can see the tri-oval in the background of your picture there as we ride on board with the cars out on track. The Schumacher CLRT car, that's Chester Kiefer, we're on board with, but you can see the big tri-oval going around the outside. The circuit that opened in August 2000, it was Continental Europe's only super speedway, a 2-mile tri-oval, and was built then as the home to the IndyCar when they came to Europe, and there was also some NASCAR racing that took place here. Very sadly, over the years, IndyCar and NASCAR has disappeared back towards America, but the circuit's still very much in use, and one of the absolute highlights of the calendar is when the DTM platform comes here every year. And as an absolute treat, in the 2026 season, we have the return of Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland, who were last here in 2023. So return here for the first time in 3 years. And it's great to have the cars here. It's a quite unusual challenge for these drivers because apart from the anti-clockwise direction, it's also fairly bumpy in a lot of sectors. There's a fairly low grip and very unusual conditions compared to somewhere like Zandvoort, which was a real tire-eating circuit and very different to what we are seeing here. The cars are out on track at the moment and we are getting ready for qualifying. I say we're getting ready, the qualifying clock has started, and at the moment the cars are out on track, building temperature in the tyres and in the brakes, getting ready for the big push lap. And at the moment our eyes are very much focused on the drivers who have been doing all the winning recently, because it was Alex Tauscher last time out who won at Zandvoort, propelling himself to the top of the championship. It's his only win he's had this year, but he has been incredibly consistent, finishing no lower than 4th place. And there he is in the number 13 car in unusual colours, the car that was being run by Jack Young in Mobil 1 Super Cup. So Alex using that car. I haven't caught up with him yet to find out why, but Alex in the car that Jack Young was using. But he has been so consistent this year, and a lot of that good consistent point scoring has come as a result of good qualifying. We've discovered in Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland over the years that qualifying is critical. So these minutes that remain on the clock, absolutely vital for all of the drivers. They're building the temperature at the moment. In a couple of minutes, we are likely to see the first of several push laps from the drivers. Then we will have a break of about 10 minutes once the clock strikes zero. The fastest times will determine the grid for the first race of the weekend that will take place tomorrow. Then we will do it all again. Another 12 minutes will appear on the clock, and it'll be qualifying for race 2 of the weekend, which will take place on Sunday. There's a new driver on the grid, the number 36 car. Great to have Alex Soy here, Vietnamese racing driver, British father, Vietnamese mother, and is currently 7th in the points championship in Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. We welcome him here to Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland this weekend. Really good to have him on the grid, getting up to speed. I believe for him and for many of the drivers here, it's their first time around the Lausitzring. Quite a few of these drivers have done testing here already, and it was Alex Tauscher who was the quickest of all in testing yesterday, 122.544. He was the quickest in 2 out of the 3 sessions, but this morning in free practice, it was Keegan Masters who was quickest with a 122.726. So you get an idea of what we're looking at in terms of lap times. At the moment, the quickest car out on the circuit is Australian Caleb Sumich, a 123.393, but still probably more to come. In these extreme temperatures, and also with a car that hasn't raced here before. Of course, it's a new Cup car for 2026. It's a bit of a voyage of discovery for all of us. The last time we were here in 2023, it was Luke Hartog who took a double pole position. His time then was a 122.977. So we are hoping to eclipse that here today in the qualifying sessions. At the moment, to the top now goes Matheus Ferreira in the number 27 car, but a 123.345 in that orange, white and red car that you see on your screen. But still more to come from here. You can see how hard the drivers are pushing. The dust rises into the air in the background. Track limits can be an issue here, but are not so much. So we're hoping that we're going to spend less time talking about track limits and more time talking about what is actually happening on the track. While the clock ticks down, to remind you that coming into this weekend, Alex Tauscher leads the way in the point standings with 139 points, but Flint Schuring is the man with all the momentum. He has had 4 wins in a row, followed by a 2nd place at Zandvoort, the bruising 2nd race at Zandvoort 4 weeks ago, and he is closing in on Alex Tauscher. So he is 13 points back from Alex Tauscher. In 3rd place, Theo Overhaus has 125 points. He was the early season championship leader, very much on the crest of a wave. He's leading the way in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup at the moment in the point standings there, and he's only 14 points off Tauscher. So plenty to be played. 4th in the points, he's 32 points back with 7 points. This is another to watch now. Top of 122.713, 2 tenths down on the first time that was by Alex Tauscher yesterday. Alex Tauscher in slightly cooler conditions. To 2nd, just to keeper continues to impress. Just to keeper, who currently leads the rookie standings, 150 points. He's 24 points clear of Sam Yongyan. Sam, who did not take part in testing yesterday after issues with the throttle. A stone got stuck in the throttle assembly of his car. Really freak moment there, but it meant the car was not able to accelerate properly. So, on the back foot, Sam Yongyan with a lot of work to do in this session. At the moment, it's Flint Schuring who's quickest with that 122.713. You can see how hard drivers are pushing by the dust that rises up in the background. At the moment, Alex Tauscher is down in 17th place, but he's just gone purple in Sector 1, a personal best in Sector 2. So for the number 13 car, if he can nail it and keep it all together in Sector 3, he's going to see himself launched up through the timings. As you can see at the moment, he's 17th place, the purple, meaning he's quickest of anybody in Sector 1. We're keeping an eye on Matheus Ferreira at the moment. He's in 4th. He comes out across the line. So Matheus Ferreira crosses the line. Will he improve on that time? He stays in 4th place. So no improvement for Matheus Ferreira at the moment. Tauscher now up into P4. So we're keeping one eye on the championship leader. Matheus Ferreira, very much a pretender to the throne looking for that first win still. Surely that can't be too far away. Right, where's Theo Overhaus? He's in 5th place at the moment. So Theo Overhaus, now that's down to 6th because Marcus Armand, one of the 2 Porsche juniors, jumps up to P2 with a 122.757. Now, Chester Kiefer has been flashed up as under investigation because of breach of Article 18.3E. I haven't got a clue what that is, but there's an investigation for both cars 11 and 12. So both of the Schumacher CLRT cars are under investigation for breach of Article 18.3E. Without looking away from the screen and finding a rule book, I can't tell you what that is, but at the moment, Flint Schuring will be focused on what's ahead. And what's ahead at the moment is a nice open track as he continues to improve on his times. He's gone purple in Sector 1, but not so in Sectors 2 and 3. So 122.663. That is the benchmark. Marcus Armand splitting the 2 Schumacher CLRT cars in 2nd place. In 4th place, Keegan Masters just getting on with the job quietly under the radar at the moment. Keegan, who has been the quickest in 2 of the 5 sessions that we've had here so far in the black number 3 car that you can see on your screen there for Proton competition. Out onto the tri-oval he comes. He stops the clock. Does he improve? Keegan Masters stays in 4th place at the moment at 122.851. So all the wins, all the podium positions coming from drivers who are qualifying well up the field, somewhere near the front. That's why this session is so critical. We're into the last 15 seconds already of timed qualifying. Chester Kiefer just going a little bit wide out of the corner, dips a wheel onto the dirt, keeps it all together, but you can see how hard he is pushing. He's the quickest of the rookies, as denoted by the orange box around his white number on your graphic. Our quickest in the Pro-Ams is Zoran Spereng in 26th place with a 123.774. So checkered flag is out. Drivers who are on a quick lap at the moment, as long as they cross the start-finish line before the clock struck 0, that lap will count. Flint Schuring's 122.663 is his checkered flag lap. We're still waiting for Marcus Armand to cross the line, but it doesn't look like he's improved. So it's looking like, as things stand at the moment, it's going to be an all Porsche Junior front row for the first of the 2 races this weekend. It'll be Flint Schuring on pole position, Marcus Armand in 2nd alongside him. Then it'll be Chester Kiefer, really impressive again from the rookie championship leader in 3rd place. Keegan Masters in 4th. Championship leader Alex Tauscher has Theo Overhaus alongside him. Theo, who is the early championship leader and 3rd in the championship at the moment. Mathieu Ferreira in 7th. And then Sam Yongyan, despite having no running in testing yesterday, 2nd in the rookies, 8th overall. Then it's Joe Warhurst in 9th place and Caleb Sumich rounding out the top 10. Dylan Rose is in 11th place, and he really just gets on with it. Daniel Rose even, who just gets on with it. Another driver who just keeps appearing in the points, unassuming in his style of racing, just getting on with it and qualifying in 11th place ahead of Dylan Yip. Nick Ho is 13th place, so good from him. Dirk Schuten, Gus Bergstrom, Gianluca Tucharoglu in 16th place. Then it's Jonas Greif and Max Muschlechner rounding out the top 18. So this is the first part of qualifying. This is for the grid for tomorrow morning's race. Flint Schuring, Marcus Armand, both the Porsche Juniors on the front row, showing why they are the Porsche Juniors. And as already mentioned, it's Chester Kiefer, Keegan Masters, Alex Tauscher, Theo Overhaus. That is going to be a blinding opening lap of the race. Just throw in Mathieu Ferreira and Sam Yongyan as well. That is some real talent up there. Then Joe Warhurst and Caleb Sumich, both in the target cars. They can make some good progress from there as well. Daniel Rose, Dylan Yip, Nick Ho, Dirk Schuten, Gustav Bergstrom and Gianluca Tucharoglu in 15th and 16th place. In 17th will be Jonas Greif. Max Muschlechner, who had that dramatic crash at Zandvoort ahead of Louis Perrault. Sebastian Freimuth, Gus Burton will be thoroughly disappointed. The podium finisher at Monaco will be thoroughly disappointed with 21st place, as will Wouter Boerkamps in 22nd place ahead of Alex Sawyer. and Niels Langeveld. Montego Masson I believe in a spare car. He had a fairly sizable accident yesterday. In 26, Zoran Spring is the fastest of the Pro-Ams. Alexandra Vatova in 27th, and then it's Ahmed Al-Shihab and Mikael Esman. We're missing Sam Shaheen this weekend. He is currently in Australia at his circuit, The Bend. They've just announced that they've taken on the World Superbike for 2028 for a round of that championship at The Bend in Australia. That will be spectacular. And business certainly needs to come before pleasure for Sam. And he has an awful lot of work with The Bend. And no doubt he will be watching. So we're missing you, Sam. Hope we'll be back at the next round at the Norris Ring. But that's why he's not here this weekend. So this is all looking fairly chilled, isn't it, in the car at the moment? That looks like Joe Warhurst to me. Not that I can tell somebody by the design on their helmet, but I can see the word Joe up there. So Joe was, I think, a little bit frustrated after free practice. He said, well, I think the car's there, just need the driver to hook it all up together, and there's no driver who is harder on himself. We're looking into your eyes, Joe. There's no one who's harder on himself than Joe, who really wants to get that first podium. So far, his best results have been a couple of fifth places at the Red Bull Ring and Zandvoort last time out, but still looking for that first podium. Would love to do it here at the Lausitzring. I love the design of that helmet with all the various tracks on. I won't even try to identify what those circuits are. So the drivers at the moment in that kind of cool down, well, he said cool down, there ain't no cooling down going on here because it is incredibly hot, and I should think it is ridiculously hot inside those cars. I'm being told temperatures in excess of 60 degrees centigrade. So very warm indeed. At the moment the car's in, we have this break in the middle between the two qualifying sessions. So strategy coming in here because the teams will be deciding when to use the best rubber, when to put the best tyres on. Just looking at the timing screen, alleged impeding from car 10 will be investigated after qualifying. So that's Niels Langeveld. Another driver who had a fairly, I think probably would say, bruising time at Zandvoort. Felt as though maybe some of the driving standards weren't as good as they could have been. And he, up until then, I think he's been very much enjoying his time in Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland, but looking to really get his championship back on track this weekend after what was a fairly difficult time at Zandvoort. So it's Flint Schuring once again, the one they're all aiming for. I will remind you, if you haven't been joining us since the start of the season, well, firstly, where have you been? Secondly, you can catch up on all of the races from this year online. Just keep an eye on the YouTube channel, Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland, where all of the races are shown. First three races, well, Flint started off with two non-finishes, getting caught up in other people's dramas, and then a spin in race 3 at the Red Bull Ring. Came back to 10th place, but then since then has been almost unstoppable. It was 4 wins in a row and then a second place at Zandvoort in race 2 last time out. And we know how good he is, particularly in the Schumacher CLRT car. And we saw him in Barcelona in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup last weekend. An incredible charge from 5th place on the grid. These cars are all identical. They are all equal. So to come from 5th place on the grid to win is no mean feat. It was Flint Schuring versus Keegan Masters versus Theo Overhaus. It's Keegan Masters who started on pole position in Barcelona. But Flint Schuring, really nobody get anywhere near him in Barcelona last time out. In Monaco, the week before, again, Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, Theo Overhaus started on pole position and took what would have been an incredibly memorable win. And you could just see the emotion in Theo Overhaus's eyes afterwards. But a big shout out to Gus Burton, who for a moment was in 2nd place in Monaco, but still finished on the podium, has a fantastic trophy happy as a result. And I think for Gus, that will go down as one of his absolute career highlights in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. To get a podium around the streets of Monaco is truly a great feat. And I think Gus will remember that one for a long time. Worth checking out his Instagram, particularly the hire car with the hazard lights that wouldn't go off. That's a whole nother story. I'll let you go and look at his Instagram and find out about that yourself, but that was highly amusing. He's a great Instagrammer, is Gus, so go and check out his feed if you get a moment. Right, well, a little bit of conversation going on here, but nothing too much. Of course, the teams don't talk to the drivers during the races and qualifying. It's now where they're now deciding on the strategy for this qualifying too. We're about a minute and a half away. So I was talking about the championship at the moment. Tauscher, 13 points clear of Flint Schuring, but he will need to catch and indeed, if possible, pass him in race 1 tomorrow if he can, because he's qualified behind him after the session that we've just had. The race, which will take place at about 11 o'clock local time, it's 10 o'clock UK time tomorrow. In the Rookie Championship, Chester Kiefer leads Sam Yongyan by 24 points. So Kiefer has 150, Sam Yongyan has 126. Montego Masson is third with 117, so he's 33 points back. Nick Ho is fourth, and he is 48 points back. He's tied, in fact, with Caleb Sumich, who also has 102 points and is 48 points back. So the Rookie Championship, very much up for grabs, but in both of those championships, the Schumacher CLRT cars are taking a bit of catching. In the Pro-Am Championship, it's Mikael Essmann who leads the way. He's 11 points clear of Zuren Spring. Sam Shaheen is only 20 points back from Mikael Essmann, but of course, with him not racing this weekend, that gap is only going to increase. As was the case last year, it feels very much like it's an Essmann v Spreng with Ahmed Al-Shihab 90 points back. He was unable to start at the beginning of this season owing to the various issues in the Middle East. He was unable to get to the first couple of rounds. So he's already started on the back foot. And I think for Ahmed to be in the championship hunt at the end of the season will require Mikael Essmann and Zuren Spring to have a significant amount of bad luck. In the team standings, it's Proton Competition who lead Target by just 2 points. Schumacher CLRT are in third. They are 14 points back. Right, the clock is ticking once again, and it's another 12 minutes that goes onto the clock as we get ready for qualifying 2 here at the Lausitzring for Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland. So the time in the last qualifying session, a 1:22.663. So we didn't actually get to the time, the quickest time yesterday. So maybe the hot temperatures affecting the tyres and the level of grip available. Having said that, it has actually started to just get a little bit hazy and a little bit cloudier. There is some talk of some fairly large storms in the area, and they're not going to arrive in the next 12 minutes, but they may well be a factor as this weekend progresses. So we'll see how that shakes out, and it might well be that we'll see some rain before this weekend is over. So out on track at the moment, the cars are back out and just getting the tyres into the window. Once again, of course, no tyre warmers are permitted, so all the temperature needs to be generated out on the track. And the drivers are taking a few laps just to get the tyres into the window. We're riding with one of the Team 75 cars, and that's a great angle there, looking at the driver and getting his perspective of the circuit and what it looks like. And you can see that solid concrete wall. So we're using 2 parts of the tri-oval, out of turn 5 and in towards turn 6. It's a really short little stretch, and we come out wide, right close to the wall. And then out of turn 11 into turn 12, where we take a large section, the last corner in its entirety of the tri-oval and most of the pit straight. Again, out wide, close to the concrete wall. And you can get a cars about 7 or 8 wide down the straight, but the problem is into turn 1, you can just about get them side by side, 2 abreast, but certainly no more than that. So it's a real pinch point into turn 1. It's also slightly downhill and the scene of many a controversy over the years. So it's all very well been able to spread out along the pit straight, and but you've got to get it into turn 1. They're getting to speeds of about 250 kilometers an hour in 6th gear out along the pit straight before they break into turn 1, right down to 2nd gear, about 85 kilometers an hour, and then 2 and 3 and 4 all taken in about 3rd gear, and then into turn 5, which is where they get back on to the tri-oval, which is somewhere about now that we can see. So then coming back up onto the tri-oval we come, and you can see that concrete wall which doesn't shift, I'll tell you that, and then a little stretch along that in towards the next corner, which is turn 6. But that one isn't, because we're heading down the pit straight at the moment. Well, there we go, we're still on the tri-oval, still weaving to generate the heat in the tyres, still getting them into the window. So in fact, that was out of turn 11 and 12. And then onto the pit straight that we were going. And I think it was Gianluca Tucciaroglu that we were riding with, a driver who has shown so much pace, particularly in testing. Probably just needs to be able to keep it calm when the heat is on, as it is at the moment, and certainly more than capable of a really good qualifying position. So you can see out at the moment, cars out there generating the heat in the tyres. And then in a moment, we'll also be looking to try and find a bit of space, because what you don't want to do is trip over another car. So 7.5 minutes just coming up remaining, and it'll be in the last couple of minutes that we're likely to see the time starting to come. No representative times on the board at the moment, so everybody just out there just generating the heat in the tyres and in the brakes. The opening race of the second half of the season, and unbelievably it's our first race in Germany this year, the Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland Series. So part 1 has been entirely in Italy, Austria, Belgium and the Netherlands, but now it's Germany all the way through for the second half of the season. And the rounds came very thick and fast. The first 8 races were across 8 weeks at the start of the year. Then we've had a 4-week break, and now the second half of the season commences. So we're here at the Lausitzring for today and tomorrow. Then in a couple of weeks' time, we reconvene on the streets of Nuremberg at the very unique Nürburgring. And those who have been racing around Monaco might feel as though they have something of an advantage in terms of experience around a street course. And then it's the Nürburgring in August, and then in October we've got a bit of a gap between the Nürburgring and the final 2 races, which will be the Hockenheimring in October. You can see from the purple on the screen that Caleb Sumich is the quickest in both of those at the moment, so he's the first to really start to turn the wick up in the number 14 car. So he's purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2, which means he's the quickest of anybody. But the track could potentially get quicker. Right, well, he's been eclipsed in sector 2 by Flint Schuring, who's now gone the quickest of anybody in sector 2. So 1 and 3 goes the way of Caleb Sumich, a 1:23.127. So we are not into the realms of what we saw in the first qualifying session yet, but still 5.5 minutes to come. Cars progressively getting quicker and quicker. The circuit is divided up into 3 sectors, as are most race circuits. As I said, fairly bumpy, fairly low grip, as Flint Schuring goes quickest at 1:22.579, so that's quicker than his fastest time from Q1. Sector 2 of this circuit is very short, just 2 corners basically, and sector 3 is very long. So if you're going to get one sector right, the one you want to get right is sector 3, because that is the longest sector of the track. About 33 seconds to get through that sector, a little over 33 seconds. Right, Flint Schuring is quickest, 1:22.579. Once again, Marcus Armand to second. Once again, Chester Kiefer to third. Caleb Sumich, good job from him in fourth, but a 1:23.127 So he is a little over half a second off the quickest time at the moment. There's Alexandra Vatova flashing through your picture. And there is Max Mutschleckner, who we're very pleased to say, after that dramatic accident at Zandvoort, along with Søren Spring, the team got the car together again for the Sunday. 10 out of 10 for the Target competition crew, who burnt a fair amount of midnight oil rebuilding that car, and got him back out again on the Sunday. And he probably wants to be remembered for other things from this season, apart from the wall of death around the Zandvoort corner. Right, Marcus Armand, quickest of anybody in Sector 1. So he's purple in Sector 1. He's fourth at the moment. So is he going to do something about the Flint Schering time? He's into Sector 3 at the moment. He's done a personal best in Sector 2, but about a tenth off the quickest time that was set in Sector 2 by Flint Schering. Keegan Masters goes up to second, make that third, because Marcus Armand now goes quickest at 122.436. Marcus Armand, who's already had one win this season, that was at the Red Bull Ring, has never started on pole position in Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland. Now Flint Schering is responding. He's the quickest of anybody in Sector 1. So Schering looking to respond to Marcus Armand. Theo Overhaus jumps up to P3. Keegan Masters in fourth. Alex Tauscher in fifth place. Quickest of the rookies, Chester Kiefer in sixth place at 122.855. Søren Spring, once again, the quickest of the Pro-Ams, but Flint Schering in Sector 2 is a 21.359. It was quick, but maybe not quite enough to be purple. He was a few tenths down on the quickest time that was set before. So at the moment, Flint Schering's middle sector looking good, but he needs to have an extraordinary final sector if he wants to jump back to the top of the screens on this lap. Here comes Flint Schering across the line. He does just that. So Flint Schering back to the top at 122.337. That was a stonking lap from Flint Schering. Marcus Armand then bumped down into second. Make that third, because Keegan Masters now jumps up to the front row, 122.380. So that is about 400ths of a second, just over 400ths off the fastest time. Marcus Armand down into third place at the moment. Alex Tauscher, the quickest of anybody in Sector 1. So Tauscher now giving it his all in the closing stages of this qualifying. He's done a 27.279 in Sector 1. That's about 3 tenths quicker than Flint Schering did last time around in that Sector 1. But it's Sector 2 and 3, and there's a wild ride from Gianluca Tucciaroglu. Maybe just pushing a little bit too hard in the number 91 car. But we've got one eye on Alex Tauscher. His middle sector was not especially quicker, 21.497. It wasn't a personal best. So has he taken as much out of those tyres as he can? Now Theo Overhaus becomes the quickest in Sector 1. So Overhaus, the next to pull the pin with 90 seconds remaining. Tauscher comes out across the line. Is it an improvement on P5? I don't think it's going to be. Tauscher, it is a little, so he's up to P4. So Tauscher does improve, but not as much as he would like. But now eyes go to Theo Overhaus, currently in sixth place, but purple in Sector 1. Sector 2 was good, but not outstanding, so he needs to pull it all together in Sector 3. Here he comes. He took ID Racing's first ever win in Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland earlier on in the season. Now he comes out across the line. What can he do to improve from that P6? And it's not an improvement, so he lost a lot of time in that final sector, so he stays in P6. So as things stand at the moment with 45 seconds remaining, it's Flint Schering from Keegan Masters, Marcus Armand, Alex Tauscher. That's your front two rows. What can anybody do to break into those first two rows? Has Theo Overhaus got anything left? Or has he taken it all out of his tyres? 30 seconds remaining of this qualifying session. And it looks like Theo Overhaus has backed out of it. So maybe he has given all that he can. Keegan Masters continues to improve, a personal best in Sector 1. So can Masters do anything about Flint Schering, a 27.448 in Sector 1? So that is a little close to 2 tenths off the quickest of Sector 1 overall, which was in fact Theo Overhaus. It's about consistency across the lap, pulling it all together. So at the moment, Masters trying to respond, but he's off in Sector 2 by about 3 tenths. So I don't think anybody is looking like they're going to improve at the moment. The checkered flag is out. to everybody who's on a lap at the moment. They get to continue, and that lap will count. It's Flint Schuring looking to make it a double pole. I don't see anybody getting anywhere near to taking it from him. Keegan Masters in second place. Marcus Armand, Alex Tauscher still out on track, but not improving. And then Chester Kiefer in P5, the quickest of the rookies as well. So a great job from him. Theo Overhaus in 6th. Dirk Schuten popping up in P7. He's another one who's just quietly got on with it today. Mathieu Ferreira in 8th place. We're looking there at Dylan Yip, who is qualified in 19th for this race. But it's going to be a double pole for Flint Schuring. We've got quite a few drivers who have been reported to the race director for not following briefing notes. And those are Gus Burton, Louis Perrault, and the 66 car of Monty Masson. So they have been reported to the stewards. I don't know what that could be, but again, not following the director's briefing. So may be some infringement there. And Gus Burton, again, a 22nd. He will be disappointed with that. So clearly not finding the setup that he would like here at the Lausitzring. So the cars come into the pits. 2 qualifying sessions done and dusted. It's a double pole for Flint Schuring. That is going to do his championship chances no harm whatsoever. From South Africa, Keegan Masters, though, from the front row, keep an eye on him. He never gives up. Then it's Marcus Armand and Alex Tauscher. Then Chester Kiefer, Theo Overhaus, Dirk Schuten, and Mathieu Ferreira on the 4th row. That is set to be another cracker of a race on Sunday. Daniel Rose has Gustav Bergstrom for company. Joe Warhurst in 11th, ahead of Sam Yongyan, Jonas Greif, and Caleb Sumich. Then Alex Sawyer and Wouter Burkamp. So Wouter, again, he has not got the setup that he wants, has he? Down in 16th. He'll be disappointed with that. Nick Ho and Louis Perrault. And next then is Dylan Yip and Max Muschlechner. Gianluca Tucharoglu in 21st. And Gustav Burton. Sebastian Freimuth and Montego Masson in 24th. Then it will be Alexandra Vatova and Niels Langeveld. And then the Pro-Am driver, Zuren Spreng, a double pole for him as well. Mikael Esman and Ahmed Al-Shihad. It looks like it's a double pole for Chester Kiefer in the rookies. But of course, all of this is subject to confirmation. There are a few issues that the stewards are looking at. So all subject to confirmation. But whichever way you look at it, it's looking like it's going to be 2 cracking races here at the Lausitzring. Races 9 and 10 of a 16-race season for Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland. What the weather will do is anybody's guess. It's forecast to be even hotter tomorrow, but as already mentioned, with the possibility of some fairly large thunderstorms as well. And that could not only change the temperature, but also change the dynamic of the track if rubber is laid down and can get washed off the circuit as well. So plenty of interesting points here at the Lausitzring as we get ready for races 9 and 10 of the season. So the cars peeling back into Parc Fermé, where they will be checked out. And the audience here getting ready because DTM free practice is coming next. So do hope you've enjoyed it. Join us tomorrow morning for race 1 of the weekend, Porsche Sixt Carrera Cup Deutschland. Still to come here.